My name's Jacob Zemer. I've been a coach online who's helped thousands of people get in the best shape of their life. I started off as a personal trainer, and I still to this day do semi-private training in Westchester. I'm an influencer now, and because of these things, I think it's incredibly important to be open about everything that I'm doing. I want to be completely transparent with you guys. That's why I have so many videos out about me being on TRT, even talking about my regrets surrounding it. So today, we're going to talk about TRT supplementation. I'm going to talk a little bit about TRT, which is a medical decision, but most of what I'm talking about is the things I do surrounding it to support it. I think it's very important to give you my backstory. I've been an athlete my entire life. I started going to the gym because I was an athlete, and as a result of it, I actually fell in love with weight training more than I did the sport I was playing. And so I've been active in the gym my entire life. I got into my late 30s and I started to have some symptoms of low testosterone, primarily fatigue. I was still sexually very interested, very active. I was still very strong. I went and had my testosterone levels looked at. They were in the mid to high 300s, which is technically not hypogonadal. However, I was symptomatic. I had a lot of fatigue. Now, knowing what I know now, I would have made sure that I banked sperm, and I also took HCG concurrently with my TRT. The reason that I did not make those decisions, being in my late 30s, was I was still single, I was mingling, I was having a lot of fun, and I didn't think I was ever gonna have kids. So I didn't want to bother to have to constantly inject myself with HCG, and I didn't think it was necessary to bank my sperm. Of course, lo and behold, one day I got a call from the love of my life, my ex who in college dumped me, the girl that got away, and she was like, "Hey, I miss you. Have you got your shit together?" And now we have one child because I did go back and take HCG, lowered my testosterone dose, banked sperm. We have my son, Nate, and now we have a second child on the way. And so for that reason, I have some regrets around TRT. I would have made sure that everything was in place prior to getting on testosterone replacement therapy. However, overwhelmingly, I'm very happy about TRT, but we're going to talk about some of the risks and some of the side effects that come along with it and how to mitigate them here today. I'm going to walk you through my TRT protocol, even though we're going to be focusing on supplementation today. So I take 240 milligrams of testosterone cypionate a week. People lose their mind when I tell them this because they think that I'm taking an amount of testosterone that will cause me to have supra-physiological levels. That'll be beyond human, that I'm basically abusing steroids. The reality is though, I take 120 milligrams twice a week. It's broken up. And having tested through blood work, my labs, I know that I immediately peak at about 1,000 nanograms over deciliter. Like if I inject on Monday and I go get my blood work done on Monday, my nanograms over deciliter are 1,000. And through the course of the next few days, leading up to Thursday, I drop down to 700 nanograms over deciliter. And then I inject again, I go back to 1,000. So by doing this, I consistently stay at 1,000 to 700 nanograms over deciliter throughout the entire week. So I break up my injections Monday and Thursday. Some people, they sublingually inject frequently. I just don't want to be a pincushion. So by breaking up my dose, I keep my levels consistent. The other thing that I do is I take a small dosage of nanodrolin, which is also known as DECA. And this is medically prescribed. This helps with my joints, my tendons, and it does help me be jacked. I don't do this all the time. It's always medically prescribed, but from time to time, I will add in some nanodrolin, 100 milligrams a week under medical supervision. That is my current TRT protocol. My name's Jacob Zemer. I'm going to take 45 seconds to tell you about my coaching program. I've helped thousands of people with real lives lose real weight. You can go to jacobzemer.com to learn more. There are 4 major tenets of my coaching program. The first is that we give you macros. It's calories, protein, and fiber. That's all we're concerned about, along with custom meal templates. We also are going to build you a custom program on my app. My app includes over 1,000 videos. So regardless what space you have or what goals you have, my app can help you train better. We also are going to create a cardiovascular program for you on the app as well, along with step goals. And fourth, you're going to go see your doctor, you're going to get your labs done, and we're going to walk you through the proper preventative health based on your family history. This is my coaching program that's helped thousands of people get in the best shape of their life. I'm going to start with my medical supplementation for TRT. I take telomyosartan. Now, telmisartan is a blood pressure medication. When you are on TRT, your blood will thicken. It's known as your hematocrit level. It will elevate, and this can cause your blood pressure to increase. Also, as you become more jacked, you are also more likely to have sleep apnea, which can also increase your blood pressure. My blood pressure is consistently 70/125. It's good. It's a good level of blood pressure. However, what I'm concerned about is the hematocrit, the blood thickening, and I'm also concerned about left ventricle thickening, that my left ventricle or my heart will thicken, which is very common for people who lift, period, especially those who are taking supplementation, such as I am. So I take telmisartan because it helps with all three of those areas. Next up, we're going to look at finasteride and dutasteride. This is a spray I use for the back of my head. It's very common when you're on TRT, your hairline will thin. If your hairline is receding, that's just old age. But the back of your head, that's hormonal. Now, you can take finasteride and use this as a pill. However, that will be systemic and it will go through your entire body. It can mess with your hormones. So I simply use a spray that binds the receptor sites directly on the back of my head. And I consider this medical because this is a compounded medication. So I send it to a compounding pharmacy and they make it for me. I also take DHEA. Here in the States, this is technically a supplement. In some countries, this is a controlled substance. What this allows is for me to use more of my free testosterone. So I keep my DHEA in an optimal range by taking this supplement. And I actually buy it from Puritan Pride. It's like dirt cheap and it's incredibly effective because I have tested it. These are supplements that I specifically take for TRT. I have full videos listing my whole supplement protocol, but these ones are specifically for TRT. The first is TUDCA. Now, when I say this is specifically for TRT, oftentimes when you're very muscular, your AST, ALT, your liver lipids can elevate, and TUDCA will really help with that. Now, it is important if you have chronically high AST and ALT to talk to your doctor and even perhaps get a sonogram, because you could have a fatty liver, and that's why your AST and ALT could be elevated. I had a sonogram. It's just because I'm jacked, and after I work out, my muscle breaks down and it elevates it. TUDCA really does help with that. Ubiquinol is an amazing supplement. It's also known as CosaQ10. This just happens to be very bioavailable, which is why I take it as Ubiquinol instead of CosaQ10. This is for heart health. It's not that I wouldn't take this if I wasn't on TRT, but I really do take this with TRT in mind. Along with that, fish oil. For many people, fish oil is beneficial because they struggle to get enough omega-3s. You should be having your omega-3s tested using a quartile test. It's called an omega-3 quartile test. It'll evaluate your omega-3s to your omega-6s. Omega-3s are incredibly important for hormonal balance, cognitive function, heart health, a number of things. I take in particular DHEA by Nordics Natural, and then I also take prescription grade EPA. I take more EPA than I do DHEA, and again, the reasoning for this is that I want to make sure that my omega-3 quartile is in an excellent place, but also because I'm on TRT and I'm very concerned about heart health. These are simple supplements that I take to help along with my TRT protocol. The final thing that I want to talk about today are some supplements that I have used periodically along with TRT. When you are on testosterone replacement therapy, it is possible that your IGF-1 levels will lower. And obviously you want to keep these in a optimal range. So you get your IGF-1 levels tested. We don't test growth hormone anymore. We look at insulin-like growth factor. And so the things you can do to supplement that are medications like Zemer, which is an IGF-1 agonist. There's also supplementation such as GRP or CJC. I personally don't love Zemer. I don't find it to be effective to raise my IGF-1 levels. GHRP6 with CJC 1295 has been very effective for me in the past. It's seen here. You can get these through compounding pharmacies. They are currently not FDA approved. I currently don't bother with this because again, it's an elaborate protocol. It requires me to constantly inject myself. It really depends like how important this is to you. For me, I love building muscle, I love training, but I'm muscular enough. I really like how I look. I feel in great shape. My IGF-1 levels are good. They're not great. It's not worth it to me to go through this protocol to get them to a great level. My number one goal right now in life was to build muscle, or I was behind the 8 ball. I wasn't that jacked going into my 40s. This would be something I consider, and it also can help you feel better. I feel terrific. But the number one priority in my life is my family and then my business. Working out is a passion of mine, but it's one of many passions I have. Final thing that I want to talk about is L-carnitine. I love L-carnitine. You can take it orally. However, when taken orally, it becomes carcinogenic. So you want to take it in an injectable form intramuscularly. You take it daily. You can take it as low as 200 milligrams a day. Some people go as high as 600 milligrams a day. I'm a little bit on the higher side of things when I do take it. I only take it when I'm on a fat loss phase. Again, I don't like injecting every single day, but I do find that it's very effective for energy levels. It's very effective for fat loss, and it's very effective with helping with androgen. So it has a lot of benefits, and this is great if you're on a fat loss phase. And again, you can get this from a compounding pharmacy. And that is it for my TRT supplementation. You can ask questions down below. I'm happy to answer. I offer a coaching service where I help thousands of people get in the best shape of their life over the past 10 years. I have clients who are on TRT. I have clients who are not on TRT. I have clients who are thinking about getting on TRT. I have clients who are on GLP-1s. I have clients who are not on GLP-1s. I've helped a variety of people who have careers, families, whose first and foremost priority is not fitness. I'm not dealing with anybody that is taking illegal drugs. I only work with people who see medical practitioners. It has to be supervised. Again, my priority in my life is my family first and foremost. I want to be able to see my kids grow up. Each and every single week, I put out one long format piece of content at a minimum, and daily I put out short format content here on YouTube, also on Instagram and TikTok. If you like what you saw, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.